haven't got time to have a sip. All right, my coffee's ready. That's all right. The ladies are here. You know them all. They're going to be addressing these issues tonight, and boy, are they beauties. First one tonight, over here. The neighbour has spied a real estate agent tending to the house next door, bringing people over for a little bit of afternoon delight. More and more women on the streets, middle-aged. Why? Why is this a growing phenomenon? Sad story. And her brother, he keeps chasing beautiful but fake women, and he's always let down. She writes in to find out, what the hell can we do for him? Strap yourself in, sweet and sour, right now.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Lovely to have you all here. Hello everyone, welcome to Sweet and Sour. Gary Mitchell with you for the next half hour, and his mates. Who are his mates tonight on the panel? Hello, Louanne Ward.
Hello, Gary.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Gary.
What's happening in the world of relationship counselling?
Relationships, as fast as they get into them, they get out of them.
Yeah, that's good for business, isn't it?
It is for some people's business, but good job.
Good
Love
job?
it. Love it.
You like it?
Love it. A little bit.
Love it?
Love, love.
Do you love what you do?
Who doesn't love food?
Oh.
That's a very good question.
It's true.
Oh, I love food.
Yes, season's changing. Getting
Winter.
out the nice
No
soups
soup.
and yeah.
No soup?
What do you mean no soup?
No soup? I haven't had soup yet.
Bone broth. Oh, I was going to bring it. I made matzo ball with. I made that tonight with the chicken consomme.
yum.
It's at home waiting for me.
Matzo balls.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had matzo balls?
No, I don't know. Have I? I don't
My
know.
Jewish mates used to throw matzo balls at me all the time. I love them.
I'm
And
obviously-
gefilte fish. Do you cook a lot of Jewish food?
On the odd occasion.
Oh, yum. Greek food, Jewish food, Italian food, Spanish food. Spanish food I'm into at the moment. What are you into?
Well, I obviously think I should be changing professions right now. I should be into food or in love. That's what I should be
What's
doing.
wrong with architecture?
Well, it's a tough market, Gary. It's a
tough
really,
market.
really tough market out there, and people are doing it tough.
I tell you what they're
doing
not
it.
doing any less frequently than they used to, getting married. Isn't that right, Candice?
True that. I've got wedding number 170 coming up.
170.
Yeah.
In how long? A minute and a half.
2 and a bit years, yeah.
Wow.
And I had a baby in the middle.
And had a baby in the middle.
Yeah.
How good are you?
I don't know.
No, yeah, well, you know.
My
word
mum
of
thinks
mouth.
I'm cool.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
No, she doesn't.
Mum. They're not biased much, are they? Goodness me. Here we go, letter one. Lovely to have you all here tonight, ladies. This one comes to us from Seaforth in South Australia, an Uber delivery dear, Sweet and Sour. Our neighbours of 15 years are selling their house. Louanne, you'd be good on this one. They listed with a very dynamic, well-respected female agent. When they first listed the property, a guy in a black BMW would turn up 5 minutes after the agent, and I assumed the guy was another agent. The agent is very proactive, and she's often visiting the property during the day to show people through. Recently, I was watering the garden, and over the fence, I couldn't believe I saw the agent, a married woman, and the BMW guy, get this, having sex on the outdoor table. Could have sold tickets.
Very uncomfortable.
My husband and I decided not to tell the neighbours because they're desperate and in a financial crisis, and this would cause more stress. Despite the agent visiting the property on several occasions without any sign of the black BMW, I asked my neighbours how the sales interest was coming along, and she said so far there had been 0 interest from home opens. So I asked her about private viewings, and she said there hadn't been any. The agent is using my friend's home as a rendezvous for sex romps. My question is in 2 parts. Do I tell my neighbour or mind my own business? And here's the philosophical issue: has the online culture of easy access to hookups impacted on people's moral compass? As I said, Diane of Seaforth, South Australia. Candice, how long are marriages lasting nowadays?
I don't claim to be an expert in marriages, but I can do the legal side
Have
of
you
things.
had any repeats yet?
No, but I have had a few divorces. And they used me for the divorce party, so that was kind of cool.
They have a divorce party with a celebrant?
People sometimes do, yeah.
Do you,
Like,
sign
uncouplings.
documents?
No, we don't sign documents, but they might take their rings back and you know,
Do
release
they
each
both
other from
attend
their
the
vows.
divorce
No.
parties?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Are
you
so there's like
joking?
vows, and they do like reverse vows.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like,
mine is-
by the way, we made these promises 2 years ago, and
Now
psych,
not.
we're out, yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. Regarding this, I wouldn't tell the neighbour, but I would have a look on the real estate sign out the front of the house and call that number and be saying, this is what I've seen, and you want to cut it off before I tell my neighbour.
Ooh, you smarty.
Keeping dignified, but also telling her what's what.
I like that.
You're kind of minding your own business, but you're also kind of not.
I know what you're up to. That'll stop it. She'll be going to someone else's property.
Well, or
to do it.
before
It's not
I
gonna
call
stop
the
it, is it?
principal of your real estate agent, will
Call
you?
the
It's
principal.
probably the principal she's having sex with.
It could well be.
I mean, let's face it.
could well
she's
be.
probably having sex with the principal, for God's sake.
So that's why I thought call her first and say, look, you're not being very
I
discreet.
don't think so.
Go for it.
I
Come
don't
on,
think
Susie.
So. I
What-
think you have to call. This person has divorced. They're struggling. For God's sake, help her out and actually be a friend and be a good neighbour and tell her what is happening so that she can stop it and actually move on with her life. Because
Maybe
while the
change
house is
sheets.
not selling, there's nothing. I don't think though.
Stress City, though, for the lady.
Oh, for God's sake! Well, I'm sorry,
Band-Aid
Stress
off.
City for the person who's actually not having their house sold and they're divorcing. I mean, really. And the second part was, has online culture had given easy access? Online culture has got nothing to do with this. Real estate agents have been having sex with people in houses, but there's so many movies that have had that as a subplot. I mean, really? No, it's got nothing to do with online and it's got nothing to do with moral compass. It's two people having an affair. That's happened for years
Well,
and
hang on,
centuries.
hang on. You missed a bit.
What?
The black BMW is not turning up anymore. It's random.
No. On several occasions it hasn't turned up.
Yeah.
Several occasions, and sometimes
Yeah.
it has. But she's only having
Yeah.
sex with the black man and the black
No.
BMW.
No.
No.
Oh, do you not reckon?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, too. Well, then, therefore, tell her. Who
Now-
cares about the black
She's
BMW?
swiping. Swiping. Yes, she's
Swiping.
gorgeous.
And that's why they've written about the online culture, because they're swiping and letting up where they can.
It is. It's kind of prevalent. Yeah.
Is it?
Look, I think reverence has given way to self-gratification. I think
Yeah.
that's just
That's not a new
initially
phenomenon, though.
this
This is.
seemingly costless lifestyle is sold to women, and I notice it very much in the women of the younger generation as freedom, equality, modern behaviour. But I see it as an externalisation of self-worth. And, you know, I think...
Externalisation of
I mean, have you
self-worth.
seen how much people are obsessed with their digital image as, you know, as some kind of pat on the back to, you know, how many likes they get? And I think that this, you know, whole culture of swiping left and right, you know, is adding to that. I think it actually, it's the evidence of the throwaway damaging love that we have these
It's a
days.
narcissistic
damaging.
culture.
It is,
And it's
incredibly.
self-obsessed.
And yeah, it is.
Lou, last word
Okay.
to a relationship expert,
Yes.
no less.
Well, I think that we need to probably look at the sales process of the company. This is how we get the deal done. It is part of the
the house
sales
was
process.
selling, no
because
argument.
if it wasn't if it's
It's
not
all
selling,
part of the
you
business.
lift your game, girlfriend. But
Guaranteed
not
to,
very good. The
guaranteed to
table
put a smile on your
wasn't
face.
very good. She
but
didn't-
seriously, if people are going to have an affair, they're going to have sex, they're going to find somewhere to do this. And
Anyway.
you know that the local park is probably not a great option, but
Sand
the-
dunes,
the-
not like the sand dunes,
Yeah.
they're the old days.
but the easy access
windows
to
by Kings Park.
Was that you?
I wasn't with you, was I? No, shit. Oh.
Still got that sand in my anyway.
But I think it's just made it easier for people to actually get everything delivered. What do you want? Well, you know, I want a little bit of sex in the middle of the day. How am I going to get it? Well, I'm going to, you know, get it here. And where am I going to do it? I'm going to do it here. And it has just made it so much easier. The actual sex industry, the dating sites out there, the ones that are doing the absolute best and making the most money, are the ones that are for hookups. And
Really?
a lot of them have way more women on them than they do men. So,
Way more women.
uh-huh.
It's the first time I've heard that. Is that right?
Yep.
I'll be on tonight.
But it has actually made it easier.
We asked you to know. I won't, Olga, you know that. We asked you at home to answer this question for us. Has the easy access hookup culture impacted negatively on society's moral compass? And this is what you said on your screen right now. 43% said yes. What are you doing? And 57% said no. Maybe
They're the
that's
ones
just
that are
because
having
you're
their
out of
affairs.
touch. I don't know. When we come back, we're going to talk about a very sad plight that seems to be a growing phenomenon in Australia. Homeless women around the late 40s, 50s, divorced. Growing phenomenon. We'll see what the ladies have got to say. See you soon when we come back. Boo.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Toss the sugar on there.
Well, welcome back to Sweet and Sour. Now, if you'd like to send us a letter so we can discuss and rip it apart and have the ladies' views aired, send it to one of these contact points that you're looking at on your screen right now. There you go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. There's no excuse not to write one and send it in to us there. And for everyone who does send us something in and we do discuss, we're going to send you to the movies courtesy of our very lovely and delightful Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. And what's the movie we're sending you to, Nat?
Wonder Park.
Wonder Park. Have you seen it yet?
It's an anime and I would like to see it with my children.
Oh, good for you. All right, here we go. Letter 2. Out and way down. Hello, Sweet and Sour. No Australian should become homeless because they can't afford rent in this rich country of plenty. But here we are. I'm well over 50. I've no super left, but I didn't have much to start with anyway. Recently divorced and cleaned out in the process. And now we have an election campaign that doesn't acknowledge that I exist, nor anyone in a similar position. Property prices are crashing to some degree, I read, but rentals are so far out of my grasp, I'm forced to bunk with my daughter and her friends who don't care for me to be with them. It's very depressing. Why am I in this position now? Is it my fault when all I ever did was help everyone around me and I didn't realise that I could find myself in this position? Who do I blame? What needs to be done about housing people like me, please, and educating women to ensure this doesn't happen? Why aren't political parties aware that this is happening to many women? Please help. Dorothy of Greenwood in WA. Lou, first up to you. Were you aware this was happening?
Well, Dorothy, it's not that I don't have compassion for your situation, but you know, this is happening to women. Get off the cross.
Is it happening to everyone?
It's happening to everyone. It's not gender related. It's not that, you know, it's not happening to men. I know plenty of men that this sort of stuff happens to that get cleaned out and divorced, and they're in the same position. So this is happening to women. You know, you're only 50, you're not 85, you know. It is happening across the board. And whose fault is it? Who's to blame? We all get a choice of how do we live our lives and the decisions that we make. And if you regret helping people, all I did is ever help people, and so now I expect something in return because I was so good, and because I was so good, now I have an expectation. Life doesn't work that way, as she's finding out, and it's a horrible position to be in, but you actually have the contrast now to say, I know what I don't want. I don't want to be homeless, so now I know what I do want, and what am I going to do about what I do want, which is to have a safe place? You're not dead yet. Colonel Sanders wasn't, you know, he's 83 by the time his fried chicken got eaten. So, you know, do whatever you want to do with your life. But sitting around and complaining about it and thinking that somebody else needs to solve your problem is not the answer.
Come on,
change your attitude.
Do you know what this phenomenon is called?
No.
Grey divorce.
Grey divorce.
What about the stats on it?
Older people who are divorcing.
It's essentially the baby boomers, and they're getting the divorce rates. In 1992, the divorce rates to now on the baby boomer generation are actually increasing by 2 to 4 times, so by about 50%. So it's a phenomena across the board, and you know, actually, you know, Generation X is conjugally the most successful of the generations. Another subject, but financially, it's very challenging if you make the choice to separate at that time. And you know, there's a few people that make the together under one roof thing work. But obviously it's a bit late for that for you, Dorothy. But, you know, there's a few things. First, picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, looking at how you can, you know, earn money and get a job, fulfil some of your self-worth, because it sounds like that's in the floor. Stop thinking about what's done, because done is done, past is past. You can only look
Stop feeling
forwards.
sorry for yourself.
And, you know, look at the creative answers. You know, I found myself in a position with 2 children and by myself, and I ended up sharing with another single mum, and that works really well because we share those expenses, and things are cheaper when you share them. We shared the expenses, we shared some of the mothering duties, and it worked really well for me. So perhaps look for other women in your situation. It's certainly quite a few there. The stats are showing there's quite a few there.
Susie, come on in.
Okay, I sort of agree. I agree with the sentiment of both the other ladies. I don't agree that it's only a women's thing, not just a women's thing. I do actually think we have a major issue for women. I'm well over 50. The reality is that we grew up in a generation where I'm the last of the baby boomers, and I'm divorced. We grew up, we had our children in our 30s, then we had to give up work. No one would employ you part-time. So that was just the thing that we all did. The problem is super wasn't bought as a compulsory element until 1992. None of us, I have no super. So I actually think it's really important that we actually we help support each other, and I agree men and women all get cleaned out. I agree totally with that. What I do want to say to Dorothy is no one is to blame. There's no blame game. There's no point saying,
Here we are.
you know, oh my God, look at what you've got. I was divorced with nothing at 40 with 4 children under 5. I can tell you it was disgusting, and you have to start again. All I can say to you is forget about politics, go back, study, do some self-help courses, learn to love yourself again. You sound very depressed
Never
to
too
me.
late.
You sound very depressed.
Candice, last word.
You know what, I really feel for Dorothy. This isn't a scenario that I've come across in my life so far, and not one that I hope anyone close to me would come into. I'm really saddened that she seems to have done all of the right things and has a lot of pride in helping the people around her, and has found herself real out and way down, as the title of the letter says. I wonder if a bit of financial education would help. I know that there are some resources available out there in the community, many free, that would allow people in your situation to just have an assessment of what income you do have, how you can best maximise that income without necessarily investing or anything like that. Look at what your opportunities are, because I think you're a lot more capable than you think you are.
We asked you at home this question: can the politicians with enough commitment ever solve the homeless problem? And well, there aren't too many people with a lot of hope there. This is what you said. 33% said yes, the overwhelming majority said no. When we come back, we're going to be talking about a brother in love. And it's always a mistake. Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour coming up right now.
Sweet and sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. Straight into the last letter. Hi, my brother is a successful guy in his mid-30s. He isn't good looking, but he's a gorgeous guy who just wants to meet the right girl and build a family. He's constantly chasing way above his weight, and these beautiful types use him for his money and leave him broken-hearted. It's the usual pattern. I brought him to my office Christmas party, introduced him to a few nice girls, but I nearly died when he gravitated to the office beauty, a bitch and my nemesis, who was promoted ahead of me because she was sleeping with the boss. Before I knew it, he was chasing her. She told him to go slow as she'd been hurt, but would send him naked pictures of herself. Before she was with him, she was constantly sharing wild stories of her weekend hookups. He bought her a Tiffany New Year bracelet soon after they met. He took her to Fiji and stayed in separate rooms. He's given her Chanel handbags, taken her to beautiful restaurants. All this, but she never let him stay the night. He bought her a diamond necklace on Valentine's. The next day, she said she doesn't want to see him romantically. Never has, and he's only a friend. Now, this girl at my work is wearing the diamond necklace. I told him to get it back. How can I get him to stop going for fake girls? It makes him feel worthless. And it comes to us from a woman named Tandy. Tandy, is it?
Yes.
Of Malvern in Victoria. Tandy. Okay, who's first on that? Nat?
I'm oscillating.
Between?
Well, between calling Tandy and say, hey, can I get his number? I know plenty of pretty girls that are lovely on the inside as well. And but hey, talk about running him down. I read that first paragraph and I was a little taken aback at the way Tandy said he isn't good looking and he's always punching above his weight. And no wonder the guy's got self-worth problems, which is what all this is about. He's trying to bolster his self-worth by going out with attractive women and all these other external sources of self-worth, and he's got obviously low self-confidence, and while he's sitting in that kind of boat, he's never going to find a beautiful person because he doesn't see any value in himself. So she finishes with, it makes
But
him
hang
feel
on, he
worthless.
doesn't have any problem finding beautiful women. Just keeping-
Because he's throwing, she's saying because he's throwing his cash around and not saying who he is, but he's a gorgeous guy. So I think there's...
That's a success model for some men.
Well, it's not working for him because they're only wanting him to buy them presents, is basically what she's saying.
Isn't
you
that
know.
like most of them?
Well, she's saying at the end that he feels worthless, and I don't think she's adding to his feeling good about himself by saying he's punching above his weight and all those kinds of things. And
But he is.
but what does punching above your weight really mean?
Means you're not going to get what you're going for.
Why not?
Well, he never does. Why not? Because he feels worthless. He's got some issues to start
This
with.
is what I'm saying. It's about his self-worth, and if his
Gotta work
sister's
on his
running that
self-esteem.
down, yeah, but you work on it by
He's making
having
the
your
same mistake. You've got to
family
work on
saying
yourself
nice things
first,
about
mate.
you.
Oh, he's not written in. The
He's
sister's
not written
written
his,
in.
yeah, but he's, yes.
Come on, relationship expert. Tell us what you've got to say here.
Okay, what I've got to say is every single man in the history of the planet punches above their weight or wants to punch above their weight in the looks department. This is not new information to anyone. Secondly, what he's doing is looking for a complementary opposite. Where he doesn't see beauty in himself, he looks for beauty externally, and we do that in relationships as well. And what we also do is go, he doesn't actually want a relationship. If he wanted a relationship, he
running off
wouldn't
on
go
purpose.
for these kind of girls. He'd go for girls that were just normal girls that just enjoyed. He's trying to buy a woman with expensive gifts, and I don't look down on him for that, because what he does is says, well, I'm walking around with these beautiful women, I'm enjoying the company and looking at them, and they're gorgeous and I can afford the gifts. So it's a total fair exchange. There's a mutual fair exchange there. They're getting what they're getting, and he's getting totally loads of benefit from that, because other guys are looking at him thinking, dude, you must have money. Or, but you know, that's a...
Tandy's not getting what she wants,
Andy's
though.
not getting... We asked you at home to answer this question for us. Are men always going to go gaga over beautiful women? And 86% said, of course.
Thank God.
Thank God. Only 14%. What's in their mind? Goodness me. All right, Candice.
I haven't seen a single thing that indicates here that the sister's help is wanted or even asked for. So I reckon, sis, stay in your lane.
He got to the Christmas party and ran off with the office bitch.
And good on him for doing so, if that's what he wants to do. Your heart
He's got
wants
plenty
what
of
the heart
money.
wants. And
Took her to Fiji, brought her...
no
to
one's
Fiji.
forcing him. No one's
I
forcing him.
agree
go
with
back to getting his
Candice.
number
I agree
from
with
a friend.
Candice. Who says he feels worthless? He probably doesn't feel worthless at all. I think she's the problem. She's
Well, she
critiquing
says it
them.
makes him feel
Maybe
worthless at the end.
no. But she's actually these women are running away from him because they're looking at her as the sister and going, "Holy hell, I don't want to have anything to do with this guy because he's got this crazy sister." Keep your nose out of it, Tandy.
We're going to take a vote. Raise your right hand if you think the sister is the problem who's written into
I
us.
do.
No.
Okay. Now, whilst you've got your hands up, wave goodbye, because we've got to go. All right. Thank all of our wonderful panellists on tonight's show. Thank our wonderful crew who put this show together every week for us. And thanks for having us at home, Australia. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Can you girls come back next week?
No, yes.
Okay.
No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
I'll
Yes.
see if I can...
You got any weddings in between?